Well, good morning, everybody. This is DearMamaSal on a very chilly Wednesday morning. It suddenly dropped back down to -2. I mean, who knew? I thought we were sort of on our way towards spring, but apparently not. -2 would be sort of like 29 American. And so it was a bit of a shock. It wasn't what I was expecting. And I had to scrape the ice off, and I look at that as good for the, get the heart rate up, right? It'll be interesting to see what it did. For those of you who have been on the broadcast, you will know that I got this funny little gizmo for Christmas. And what it does is it monitors all my movement during a day and my sleep pattern. Now, don't mind telling you that the first day I had it, I swore at it, and not nice words either, because I really didn't understand how little movement I was doing in a day, and it upset me. And, you know, I don't know about you, but who needs a Christmas present that tells you you're a lazy slob? I did. And so I got angry, which is always, you know, an interesting reaction. And then I got mean. I'm gonna beat this thing. And you know, there's that part of me that has that mentality, which is, it's just a gizmo, I can beat it. And then I went to sleep. And then, as I may have mentioned before, that this gizmo, as soon as I got up to go to the washroom in the middle of the night, would think I'd given up sleeping. And so then I thought, no, I have to find another way around this, and I did. And it's quite funny, because now I actually can monitor my whole night's sleep, which is amazing. The other thing I've managed to do is to increase the amount of activity I do up to almost 100% every day, depending on how much effort I put into it, without actually going for a walk. How many of you would like to know about that? And this is not running up and down the stairs 16 times every hour, you know, because you know I wouldn't be doing that. But really what I realized is that this thing monitors when you increase your heart rate. And you know what? That's a healthy thing to do. And so then, being the person that I am and the mentality that I am, I went, how do I increase my heart rate without going out for a walk in the rain? And I found the answer, which is very exciting to me. So that's been exciting. So when I look at something like cleaning the ice off my car, I'm going, oh good, that'll increase the heart rate. That'll help me up my total for the day. And I like it because I keep looking at things in terms of, oh, that will increase the heart rate. For example, prior to this present, I never ever emptied my recycling or my compostables every day. But you'll be amazed how many times I pop downstairs to go and put stuff in my recycling or in the garbage or in my compost. Because I realize every time I do that, I'm going downstairs and back up them again, which in turn puts up the heart rate. So I put all these little schemes that I do every day now, which got to be better for me, right? And I've also found out that I actually do average about 6 to 7 hours sleep a night, which is better than I thought. And I hate to admit this, since I've got the heart rate up, I appear to be sleeping more soundly. Now, you know, who wants to hear that the Christmas present from hell actually turned out to do good? But so far, it's interesting, really interesting. We have a question for the day. And the question I got asked that I thought was really interesting, I get asked a lot of questions every day, as you can probably imagine. But the one I got asked that sort of piqued my imagination enough, and I thought, gosh, I think a lot of people would like to answer that one. And, you know, I've tried to find ones that I think that a lot of you can relate to. This came from obviously a younger viewer, or it is my judgment that they came from a younger viewer. And the question was, should I approach looking for love as a job or just wait for it to find me along the way? Wow. What an incredible question. So, I'm pretty sure that I've got all sorts of people who are now going, let me tell you my opinion of that. Let's think about reality, though. I was trying to think that, you know, in my 20s, was I looking for love? Yes. I really did. I mean, I partied a lot, and I went to every party I could think of. Why? I was hoping to meet Mr. Right. I personally had a very good track record of meeting Mr. Wrong, but I worked quite hard at it. So, although my initial sort of answer to this was no, there's part of me that goes, wait a minute, is the reason that we do so much in our late teens, early 20s because we're looking for love? And I thought that would be a very interesting question to ask the peeps. So what do you think? Do you think the reason that we spend so much time gallivanting about and doing all the things we do in our late teens and early 20s is because we're looking for that soulmate? In a way, was it a job? Did you actually work hard at it? Did you sort of almost research it? And interesting, I think, for people to give us their comments on that. Now, I'm pretty sure that there are as many people who sort of tripped over the love of their life. Do you know what I mean? Had no intention of looking for this person, and they just happened to trip over them on the way. I'm pretty sure that there are quite a few people who didn't go out consciously looking. So I'd be really interested to hear from you guys as well. So then maybe we can get both sides of the story for this viewer. Because I don't think there is a right way, myself. I keep wondering about the ones I missed. I don't know about the rest of you. I'm going, you know, if I kept picking Mr. Wrong, was Mr. Right in the room and I just plain missed him? You know, I was so mesmerized by Mr. Wrong that I clean missed Mr. Right. Yeah, that would be me. You can imagine, right? So there's part of me that goes, I really don't have a definitive answer, because if you ask me, my judgment is I don't think there is a right way to do it. But I'm pretty certain there are a lot of people who think there is. So, I mean, there's a school of thought that says, you know, if you're not outside your front door, the chances are you're not going to find Mr. Right, you know, that you're not necessarily going to find Mr. or Mrs. Right. You're not going to find them by sitting on your couch. So I do believe that there has to be some activity in the right direction. You have to show yourself willing. A lot of people have found Mr. Right through things like the more reputable online dating services. I've heard some incredible success stories. I've also heard some horrible catfish stories. And for those of you who don't know what catfish is, that's where people are online pretending to be somebody they're not. And there can be some pretty bad stories about that one. So especially for a young person, I wouldn't recommend that unless you have somebody doing an awful lot of research for you. Or you watch at least 12 episodes of Catfish. And that's CATFISH, you know, where you can see some of the incredible cons that are going on the some of these sites. And for years, some people, you know, are conning people for years. It's like, really? I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going, where do you get your jollies out of duping somebody emotionally? And how sick is that? I think somebody who plays with somebody else's emotions, you know, I don't want to tell you what I'd like to see done to them. You know, because it's not polite. It involves very large spikes. You know, it's just like, really? How dare you play with people's emotions like that? I really do thank you for the question, though, because I think the question is one that a lot of younger people are probably asking. And maybe some older ones as well who have got out of the game and are wondering whether they should get back into it again. So maybe I could ask that as well. Are there any of my viewers out there that are maybe a little bit older that decided to get back in the game and start making themselves available rather than sitting inside the house? And if so, how did you do it? So that we cover sort of both the younger age group and the slightly older age group. So I'd certainly be fascinated. Now, you do realize that there's part of me that's laughing right now because I'm thinking, you know, if I went out there and started to make myself available for dating, there seem to be a lot of things that might be a bit of a problem. Let's just check the list. Number one, I always find being allergic to garlic is a big no-no. People look at you like, you know, you fell off some planet that they don't know of. So that's always a detriment for me. Now, the good news is I've given up smoking, so that's a plus. Because that used to be the biggest detriment of all, I'm sure. Anyway, so I don't eat garlic, and nor do I cook with it. So I need somebody who cooks. And is flexible enough to cook 2 separate meals. And then, without too much cross-contamination, you can understand why this is a problem, right? So then there's that side to me. And then there's that little issue about the fact, well, I work all day, but then my hobby is DearMamaSal. So I don't have a lot of time for a relationship, which apparently you need. You've got to find somebody who's going to be willing to be vlogged. Yeah, and people of my age don't understand what on earth I'm talking about. Now, obviously, you know, the younger people do, but people of my age, they're going, you do what? Drive to work every day, talking to yourself? You know, they have a little bit of an issue with that. Understandably so, when you think about it. There are a lot of people who left their houses this morning not dressed for how cold it is. I can see them, they are shivering, poor things. So, if any of you have braved that new world, I'm certain there are a lot of single women out there that would love to hear how you did it. Because I think it's a lot more difficult in some ways, a lot more difficult today than it was. So we'll see how everybody feels about that. Let's get some feedback. The other thing is that I just wondered if any of you had any particular requests for what you would like me to put up this weekend. I was thinking about doing something about my favorite things in the house recently. I was sort of walking around and going, I'm really glad I got that. And I thought I should do a little segment on that. Maybe I will. I'll see how I feel. All right, everybody, so I'm going to get to work. So my thought for the day is keep chuckling. I know I had a serious couple of days there, but, you know, that's part of my life is... Seriously, ma'am? There's a woman walking around. There's a woman walking with a little cart. You know what I mean? This sort of looks like a baggage cart. And this little tiny cart. And he's got a little tiny plastic basket at the bottom of it. It looks like it could hold about 4 apples on a... if the apples were fairly small. I'm trying to work out what on earth was she hauling in there. Why does that amuse me? It's like you couldn't put any serious groceries. You couldn't put any serious groceries in it. Oh gosh, it's going to bug me all day now. I'm going to have these wonderful fantasies of what, of what she could carry in there. A one-legged man, maybe. I don't know. It just was really weird. Oh gosh, I shouldn't have had coffee this morning. This is DearMamaSal saying, I hope you do chuckle today. Find lots of amusement wherever you go, because it's really there if you look for it. And look after one another as much as you can. A smile goes a long way to brighten somebody's day. This is DearMamaSal saying, bye-bye for now.